Okay, so now it's yeah,
Mhm.
now it's recording. Okay, so hi Igor. Thanks for joining us. Uh
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
no, it's okay. So if you want, I can give you a little intro I can give a little bit of an introduction. So we're here with Igor Laryushin. He's a
Yeah.
17-year-old, yeah, he's a 17-year-old Russian karting driver. He started in rental karting, joined Sergei Sirotkin's academy in 2021, competed in his Saudi Rotax Championship. The year after, he was promoted to professional karting in the form of Rotax Max, but he struggled to find financial support and had some heart problems, which didn't let him compete in the Russian Rotax Max Championship. He moved to Austria in 2022, and there he was about to join a team which is competing in Central European karting. However, the financial aspect did sadly stop him from progressing again. So this all made him participate in the Saudi World Series, which he has been doing since 2024. So hello Igor, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So how have you seen the season so far?
You mean my season or the
Yeah,
season?
yeah, your
So,
season.
I mean, it started um it started quite interestingly because in the first race I happened to find my first actual team in the Saudi World Series because the last season I've had my own team with my friend in Czech Republic. We've got our own team, but it isn't very serious. We've competed only in one race, and it wasn't very it wasn't very yeah um, it wasn't very great and maybe promising probably, but yeah. So never mind. I found my first team in which first real team or yeah in which I competed um, in the 24 hours race, also in Czech Republic, in Modrice. Um, I I've grabbed some plastic cups for those races, yeah, because I've won a couple of times, but we'll call it the worst category because I was well, it was my first time on the circuit and so on. Um, I've also raced in the first ever, I think, long endurance race in Austria, which was conducted in the on the 1st of May, I think. It was the 10 hours of Kreinbach. And it's gone particularly bad. It was, I mean, our team wasn't ready at all. Uh, one of my uh, one of my team colleagues has only started pursuing karting, and his first only race was already the 10 hours. Uh, which didn't give us any good impact, especially in the rain when he had to drive. And meanwhile, I was trying like to compete with the leaders at the same times, the same lap times, so let's say. And then with me switched to this guy, and suddenly we started doing 15 seconds slower on the lap. So yeah, I mean, it couldn't bring us anything. Um, Another sprints, the most usual category of races in the Saudi World Series is a sprint, like 20, 12, maybe 15 laps in a single race. They've uh, they've been all right, I would say, because mostly I'm participating on new tracks or on the tracks I've never I've not been for a long time. And let's say to be in the mix, to be in the at least in the middle group, uh, starting right through the qualifying and the race, it is fine. Yeah, and so we are here.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
So you're here now, but how did you get into karting? Like what encouraged you to begin?
I mean, uh, it was probably my father. Of course, I've watched also the Cars movies and Lightning McQueen. He also encouraged me at all, of course. But it was probably especially my father who's been watching Formula One since 1992, I think. And every or almost every Sunday we've had Formula One races in our television. And one day I've just told him that I want to be I want to be there, and let's just try and get achieve the dream. And we start as I said, yeah, I started with rental card because mm, it is hard uh, to buy a card. I mean, it's quite expensive, I gotta admit, especially if you only start. Um, but it was also the COVID time, actually, as I started pursuing karting. The COVID hit it at the same time, and it was also a kind of a barrier to improve in the first stages. But I would say it was all right for the rental karting, at least.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And who did your dad support, by the way?
It was he's been a Ferrari fan since for ages already. He was a big Schumacher fan. He's been supporting Vettel when he was driving for Ferrari. Massa as well. Yeah, Ferrari fan. And now and also Hülkenberg. I think Ferrari, and also German drivers for some reason because uh, he's been talking also about Nick Heidfeld, who he also supported in the past time, and Nico Hülkenberg also. So yeah, German drivers also for some reason.
You said Nick Heidfeld?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. And who have you supported throughout the years? When did you start watching F1?
I mean, it's hard to say when I started watching F1 because I could have done it not very consciously, just watching it, seeing. I remember I saw some Baku race for example, not really watching it, but I can remember that it was Checo Perez who stood on the podium. So it was probably 2017 or maybe 2015, some of that years. Um, and I can't say that I rooted for him, but seriously watching Formula One, I've started pretty much at the same time as I started pursuing karting. So it was like beginning of the COVID time, I think. Mm, and it was also, I mean, a passion with my favorite driver Antonio Giovinazzi at that time. It is it is hard to explain why. It just happens. I mean, you see him struggling in that Alfa Romeo, and probably you have some empathy because he was really underrated, I would say, especially the 2021 season when Alpha actually I would say just started sabotaging him when this deal with Joe emerged on the site with those, I don't know, 20 million euros for the season. They just started sabotaging Giovinazzi to get a reason to fire him.
And
And I
what
would say,
about
yeah,
no, no, continue. Go on, go on, go on.
yeah, I would just say that he was, yeah, greatly underrated. There are a lot of I can talk for hours how he missed on great opportunities to score great points or even podiums in 2021. And I'm not getting crazy. It was really it was for real. Like,
Yeah, like in Hungary 21, he
yeah,
could have
yeah.
actually done. I'm not calling it like a sabotage, but
Yeah,
it was bad.
it was a stupid mistake because yeah, he was the only one who started on slicks, and then they've put him on the inters. I think he would have definitely been in the place of Ocon at least at the beginning of the race, and then who knows? Because Ocon and Vettel they aren't their cars no, haven't so the cars they weren't much better. So I think
Yeah, yeah,
he could have catched up at least to them.
yeah. Honestly, that Alpha and especially that Aston was, I think it was better at that point. I would say in
Yeah,
21. And after Giovinazzi, when he went to Formula E, then he went to
yeah. Vec.
the World Endurance Championship, WEC. Who did you root for in F1? Like after in 22 and 23
I was
and
struggling
24.
to find a favorite driver. I mean, I was still kind of supporting Sauber or Alfa Romeo or Haas because they're like the backmakers. They are the underdogs, and it's always funny at least to see for example, Kevin Magnussen on P5 or on pole in Brazil. It has always given a great joy to see such underdogs succeeding. I think, yeah, Williams probably also, but Haas and Alpha, they're as if they have some less resources, I would say, or some less media attention, and they were like the real underdogs in that at that time. Yeah.
Right. And we're not leaving the F1 just
Mhm.
yet, but you went into Sergei Sorokin's academy. How did that happen?
I mean, we've just um, found a an offering of the of this championship which he organized with his academy, and we've decided to try to compete in that because it would be the probably important step in competing with other professional or at least semi-professional drivers on quite a good level, I would say. Although it was still on the rental card basis, it was still a Saudi card, although with the Rotax engine. So it was a kind of great card. It were kind of great cards, but yeah, we've just found this offering, and to in order to prepare for this tournament, we've also started to visit his trainings, his regular trainings. On some karting tracks near Moscow, and I've stayed after the tournament. I was even named the Progress of the Year award because I was starting the championship pretty much as a newcomer. I've only just joined the academy and didn't have much experience. And in my last two races, I was pretty much fighting for the podiums in the junior category in which I was racing. Um, in the last race, I've even clinched the podium by overtaking the championship leader on the last lap, uh, which cost him the championship actually, and he wasn't especially happy with that. I wanted to shake hands with him, and he was quite angry actually at the end of the race because he literally lost his championship at that corner.
You did a bit of a reverse Timo Glock or a
Yeah,
reverse.
yeah,
And
probably.
sorry.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And mm, did you have you met like Sirkin himself in person?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he, he's been attending quite a lot of trainings, and he was always there on the in the races. So yeah, we've had some contact with him. Yeah.
Uh,
Mm. I've
has he
even,
like helped you?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I've even managed to race with him a couple of times. Uh, but it was also like, let's call it a part of a training when we've done a race. He started last, and the other guys, they were allowed to qualify themselves. And I was, of course, starting in the, let's say, front row, and he was starting last. So we didn't even fight with each other. He couldn't even catch up.
Uh, okay, and I mean you've technically you faced an F1 driver, so that's pretty big accomplishment in itself. But apart from him, who would you say is like the best driver you've ever raced against? Obviously, like you had Artem Severykin. You've raced
Yeah,
against him, right?
yeah, I've been on the same track with him. Yeah, it
Mm.
was on some test day we were both testing for the Rotax Max testing. I think he was already banned from European Karting Championship at that time, but he still could at least test the do the test sessions in order to come back. And I think he's come back
Yeah,
after.
yeah, he's in Italian F4 now.
Yeah. Um, I've also competed against some drivers who also raced in the Spanish Formula 4, I think. Alexander Boluyev. He didn't do especially well, I think, but uh, we were pretty much on the same level as we competed in the Sirotkin's Academy. But he obviously had some more sponsorship. And now I think he's racing in the Russian endurance championship or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, there are a lot of actually successful cases from the Sirotkin's Academy who have stepped not only just to the level of Russian karting championship, but also to the Formula cars, Formula 4, Formula 3 or FRECA, no, but Formula 4 has been the step to achieve at least. Yeah.
And would you say like the drivers you've mentioned so far, they're like the best you've ever raced against?
I mean, uh, they might be the best I've ever raced against. Uh, there are also some other, maybe more experienced drivers who I've raced against, who are racing, who race in GT or yeah, GT mostly, um, or even rallycross, I think. And it's kind of hard to compare them to the youngsters in the Spanish Formula 4. But uh, we can say, yeah, this level was probably achievable. It was, yeah.
All right. So, and what would you say is your biggest achievement so far?
My biggest achievement so far, mm, to keep it banal, I would say that I've not given up, that I'm still doing karting is my greatest achievement and something like that. But actually, uh, it is probably the biggest achievement because after the doors have been shut, and because of some financial, maybe health problems, it was hard not to give up. And now I've managed to um, redefine my own career, and now it's not dreadful. It is, we can call it promising at some specific level.
And you think you can in the future you can make it like a career of it?
I hope so that I could probably race in GT, maybe in rally because I do have some connections with those Czech guys who are competing in rally, and if we find the sponsors, we were actually planning to even try and compete in the European Rally Championship, at least in the Czech race, as the wild card drivers in a couple of years. But it comes to the biggest, it is the most important point. It comes to the money, and if I would have the money, it would be possible. Yeah.
All right. And uh, that's your biggest achievement. I have to agree. But what about like your biggest achievement on track? Like, what's the best race you've ever done? One you're really proud of?
I mean, there are some races which I can be proud of. Um, I'm, I could say that a lot of races which I won were actually won by strategy. Uh, because sometimes in karting, when you drive a race with a pit stop, there is a pretty simple strategy, pretty simple and underrated strategy actually, which is frankly underrated, especially in warm conditions, is when you just pit early as possible, and this decision has won me at least 3 races. I've on my memory right now is when I just started in the leading group, was fighting the whole time, the first five, four, I don't know, laps before the pit window opened, and I just jumped in the pit stop immediately, switched the cards, uh, rejoined the track in the complete free air, and drove my best laps while the other leaders were competing with each other, were fighting against each other, and losing a great amount of times. Uh, Once there was even a race, I didn't even know that I win it because I was so far in front of them. I've got so far in front of them that I thought I was behind them. It was like more than a half of a lap. So much time did they lost while competing with each other, while fighting.
And this race you mentioned, it was what year?
It was 2022. It
All
was in
right.
Russia, still Sergei Sirotkin's academy. Um, it was like 35 laps, so it was a little bit longer than a sprint. Uh, yeah, uh, great race. I can I can say more.
And well, this was before leaving Russia. This was before leaving Russia.
It was still in Russia. Yeah, it was still in Russia.
So like at 14, you moved from in 2022, you moved from Russia to
Mhm.
Turkey and then from Turkey to Austria.
Yeah, that's right. But I couldn't stay in Turkey for a long period of time because we didn't have any property or I don't know something like that. We've had to go back to Russia and prepare all the documents to move to Austria, and it lasted like half a year. And in the during this half of year, I was still doing karting in Russia, also with Sirotkin's Academy. Just mm, the last months with it.
And do you like still keep in contact with Sirotkin?
Not anymore, no. But actually, I've just wanted to try to catch up with him, to do an interview for my own school. We'll call that a final referat or something like that. From a high school final referat, which is about the aerodynamics of racing cars. And you know, Sergei Sirotkin, he's known for his technical for his technical knowledge. He was, I think, test driver also in Renault because he understood the cars. He could help to set up for some specific tracks, and I think it's pretty much a great aspect of him as a driver. One of the best.
Hmm. So, what are you studying right now? You're finishing school, and then what are you planning to do for college or uni?
I mean, I'm still not sure, but I would say I would like to do, would like to study um, something like journalism, um, or maybe TV science, something like that. Maybe even film and theater science, some in that way, because physics hasn't gone especially well in my high school. Our high school teacher in physics is a menace. It is no one understands what he's saying. I mean, um, all those possible dreams of studying physics and getting maybe a Formula One engineer or something like that, they're they're getting more and more away from me with every physics lesson in my high school right now.
All right, but just because there's like a
Mhm.
specific subject in high school that you don't like, that doesn't mean you can't pursue that for college or for uni.
Yeah, probably, but I think then would come the problem of lack of knowledge. And either I have to start studying physics right now and cover up all those problem aspects, all those topics which I haven't managed to learn under that specific teacher, or I try to find some other thing which would which would interest me maybe the same or even more, and pursue that thing because yeah, physics is not the only way, is not the panacea or something like that. Yeah, I think um, I just might have to think about it again if it's worth it or not. Maybe it is. I just have to rethink the whole situation. I still have a, a bit of time to do that, maybe a half of year.
So you want to, the
Mhm.
reason why you would study physics is to want to get into F1.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it would be the dream job to study physics. Yeah, so it it would make the whole studying process worth if I eventually get into a Formula One team, or maybe I don't know, Formula E, IndyCar, doesn't matter actually. Yeah, a racing team.
All right. So, and we're talking about F1 now again. So obviously we've got
Hmm.
the elephant in the room. We've got the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix this weekend. Got a three-way fight between Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, and Oscar Piastri. Yuki Tsunoda is getting sacked as well, which is sad. It's just the last race for him. So, who do you think is gonna win, first of all, between Lando, Max, and Oscar?
I mean, even if I don't really want that to happen, I think Lando is still the biggest favorite for the race. I think there is like It's 70, maybe 75% chance that Lando is winning it. Because the gap between him and Verstappen, it's just too big. I mean, it is obviously possible that McLaren will screw up another time with their strategy, or will it be just a bad race for Lando? I don't think he will have a bad race in Abu Dhabi when it's title decider. I don't think he will let himself be 2/10 slower than Oscar, like in Qatar, for example. Um, so I don't really think that Lando is giving it away. It might be really possible that Lando finishes second or even third, with Max winning or Piastri winning, and Max finishing second, Lando only third, cruising to his third or even fourth. No, fourth. Would fourth be enough? I don't think so. Yeah,
No,
third.
it's not.
Sorry, third position, which is more than possible. Have it been 10 points if Andrea Kimi didn't oversteer in that corner on the penultimate lap, then it would have been 50-50 probably, because a third place for Norris is more than possible in Abu Dhabi. A fourth, then something should happen, I would say. Yeah. So my money is on Norris, even if I wanted Piastri or maybe Max to win more. Yeah.
And so it's getting decided in Abu Dhabi. There's been this big discussion recently, especially with the Qatar Grand Prix, with how good the tracks are. What would you say is the track you would most like to race on in the future?
Um, I would say Spa or maybe Suzuka. I think Suzuka gives just the complete experience of a racetrack, and it would be very fun to drive it on any sort of machinery. I don't know, GT, Super Formula, maybe, Formula One car, everything. I think it would be really fun, but also very challenging, especially the first sector with all those S corners. Yeah. And Spa is just a legendary circuit. I mean, yeah, I had to answer Spa.
Yeah, and so you mentioned F1. Obviously, that's very far away. But out if they gave you like an F1 test drive and you had to choose one car to race, which one would it be out of all of the cars in F1 history?
I think I would take the Mercedes W11 because it would be the hardest one to crash without any preparing, because it was just so stable. It had a lot of mm, uh, yeah, it steered up, I think, very well, and the DAS, it wasn't disallowed in the 2020, I think, and so it made the steering and the racing experience even more comfortable for both drivers. It's sometimes when you watch the onboards of Lewis or Bottas or even Russell in here Grand Prix of 2020, it feels like they're driving, I don't know, maybe with climate control. This car is just so steady, and I- I'm sure it is one of the best to drive.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the best F1 cars ever, if not the best.
Mhm.
And when we're looking at the future for you, um, karting wise, what do you see yourself doing maybe next year?
Next year, I think I would most likely stay in the pretty much same position, maybe finding another team and competing in some other endurance races in some other countries. I don't know, because right now I'm mostly connected to Czech Republic, although I live in Austria. Maybe I will find something in other neighboring countries like Hungary, Italy, I don't know. But just uh, exploring the geography of the of the neighboring countries, the countries of Austria. But I don't think that there is a great change, at least next year. Right now, it's hard to imagine.
Okay, so that's kind of our time for now. So I
Mhm.
don't know if you're gonna watch the Barca Atletico game tonight. It's in like 15 minutes.
Oh, I don't think so. I still have to do some stuff. I have to
Oh, okay, okay.
teach one guy, and yeah, uh, I have a lesson. I mean,
All right.
as a teacher.
Yeah, it's okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, so thanks for
Thank you for inviting me. It's you can always count on me. You can always invite me for, you know, some expert advice, meaning on expert opinions on Formula One. I don't know. Yeah. Um, it was great to talk to you. Thank you for inviting me.
no, it was great to talk to you and I hope we see each other soon. So
Mhm.
all right, I'm gonna end this.